Daisy Bates, First Lady of Little Rock, is an hour-long film detailing the life of civil rights activist Daisy Bates and her support of the Little Rock Nine. They were the first group of black students to attend Arkansas's Little Rock Central High after the 1954 Supreme Court ruling in Brown v. the Board of Education. Last Saturday, the Chicago Cultural Center hosted a screening of the film.
We should not be forcibly integrated or forcibly anything, and we do have a right to say we do not like it.
It was here at Little Rock Central High where 9 students galvanized the American civil rights movement. Most remarkably, it was all orchestrated by one person.
You know who I mean? Daisy Bates!
Following the screening, 3 longtime Chicago area activists took part in a discussion reflecting on the film and their experiences fighting for equality during the civil rights era. Sylvia Fisher was included in the discussion. She has taught in the Chicago public school system for more than 20 years and has worked with the Student Nonviolence Coordinating Committee.
Well, for me, what became very clear, not only because of the film, but of all the years that all of us collectively here have spent in fighting for civil rights and for other causes as well, is how strong the women were. Not just the women, the men too. But there's a strength that comes from, shall I say, struggle, and she exemplified that.
Lauren Cress Love, who has done civil rights work in the Mississippi Delta region and teaches African American youth in the Woodlawn community, was also included in the discussion.
I guess the most telling aspect of the film for me was, number one, understanding that no one steps forward generally, and especially during the civil rights movement, was ever trained to do that.
Dr. Fannie Rushing, a history PhD who has lectured at, among other places, Northwestern, Columbia College, and DePaul, was also on hand to discuss Chicago's civil rights history.
I will admit, not only was I nearly brought to tears, several times I had to wipe them away, because you could not help but think of the long struggle of African American people in this country, not from 1960, but from 1619, and the valor of those young people as they walked and faced those crowds. It was just amazing to see the kind of strength that they had, the kind of commitment that they had.
These 3 women were also joined by Dr. David Neely, a cousin of Daisy Bates who took care of the activist in her final days.
In her last days, she was very fiery. And Elsie and Daisy Bates taught me the power of the pen.
Rushing, Fisher, Love, and Neely also touched on problems our society faces going forward.
But the reference to the schools and the poverty of the schools in terms of what they had to work with and so forth, and I thought to myself, things haven't changed all that much.
Daisy Bates, First Lady of Little Rock, will air nationally on the Emmy Award-winning PBS series Independent Lens this Thursday.